welcome back to For Real Guide, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you're all having an absolutely incredible day. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about relationships and boundaries in relationships. Now, it can be super easy to not be very intentional, to kind of go with the flow in your relationship because it feels good, but being intentional and setting healthy boundaries can make or break your relationship in the long run. But before we get started, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you're always getting more friendship, relationship, self-growth type videos. And without further ado, let's get into the 7 boundaries to set for a healthy relationship. Okay, so the first healthy boundary to set in a relationship is to make your own decisions, though valuing their opinion. Sometimes you have to be around people who think they know what's best for you. And a lot of times it's because they just really love you and they're not trying to be controlling or anything bad. They just think they know what's best. However, this can lead to a lot of resentment in a relationship if you constantly feel like your significant other is always telling you what to do and is always the boss and your opinions just kind of get put on the back burner. We don't want that to cause any resentment. And we want to make sure that you're having an equal power dynamic in your relationship. So something that I would suggest is thanking them for their opinion and their good idea, definitively saying, hey, I'm going to make this decision on my own, and then follow up with thanking them again. So, hey, thank you so much for sharing that, but actually I think I'm going to just decide this on my own. I'm an adult. I need to figure it out. But thank you again. I really appreciate it. That was really good advice. There you go. So the second healthy boundary to set in a relationship is to let the person know what you feel comfortable and uncomfortable with when sharing your body with them. This is super, super important. You need to let them know what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with in terms of sending nudes, if you want to hook up with them, if you want them to see you naked, or anything like that. And I know especially for women, this can be really difficult because you feel a lot of times that you can't say no, not because you want to do whatever they're asking you to do, because you feel like you have to. So you feel this weird, like, societal or fear-based decision-making towards sending nudes or getting naked. You have to stand your ground, though, and set those healthy boundaries. And it's really going to pay off if you have those difficult conversations. And I also recommend talking to another friend or a therapist or someone who you trust about how to phrase certain things before bringing this up to your partner. So the third healthy boundary to set in a relationship is to let them know that you need some alone time. Spending time by yourself is so important. One, because you're putting so much energy out into the world, you need time to get rejuvenated, to get re-energized and get all of that energy back to you. You need to rest. And then 2, because you need to spend time with the number one most important person in your life, which is yourself. You don't want to get so influenced by everything going on in society and by people you're hanging out with to the point where you start to lose your own identity because you're hanging out with people too much. It's good to just check back into yourself and see what you need. So I definitely recommend letting your partner know, hey, I need a little bit of alone time. It has nothing to do with you. I just need to get back in touch with myself. Promise you, it will really help your relationship in the long run. So the fourth healthy boundary to set in a relationship is to establish a no yelling or fighting rule. There is no need for yelling or fighting or hitting or throwing or cursing to be happening in a relationship. There's just no need for it. Yes, obviously couples get into arguments. That's totally fine. You can get into disagreements. You can have little tiffs where you don't really see eye to eye on certain things and you need to work it out. However, yelling and fighting should definitely be one of those things that doesn't really happen, in my opinion, if you want a healthy relationship. And it's hard to go back once something's already been done. So once someone's already screamed in your face, it's hard to retract that. So I think that setting a boundary up front and saying, hey, I don't do well with this, I don't do well with that. If you do that, I'm leaving. Setting that boundary is going to change the trajectory that your relationship will go on. The fifth boundary for a healthy relationship is to let them know that you need to set aside time to hang out with your friends. Having friendships is really important. Having a strong support system is something we need. We know this. However, sometimes if you're not super clear on it, your significant other might take up all your time and not even realize it. They might not realize that you need an X amount of time to rest and also with your friends. Maybe they don't have that many friends, or maybe they just don't care about their friends as much. So to them, taking up all your time after work, after school, in the morning, sleepovers every night, that doesn't seem weird to them. But if you want a strong support system to be with you during your relationship and long after your relationship, if it ends, you need to keep investing that time in your friendships, and you need to let your significant other know that. So the sixth boundary to set for a healthy relationship is to determine what you're not comfortable with when that person is under the influence. So this boundary is obviously going to be set after you've seen a couple times something that you don't like when your significant other is under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So, maybe they get a little more aggressive, like a little more physical. Maybe they yell at you, or maybe they just tease you and make fun of you in front of your friends or their friends. None of that is okay, and it definitely is worth being said to them that you don't like that. It does have to be done in a calm, rational way, and it does have to be done very delicately, because you shouldn't be asking them to change anything for you. You shouldn't be asking anyone to change anything for you, and if they like their behavior, then they're going to keep it. It really has to be coming from the place of, I feel disrespected and I like it, when you do XYZ. Not pointing fingers and saying that, they're the bad guy, they're doing something bad. Okay, so the seventh and final boundary to set for a healthy relationship is to let them know what you're comfortable and what you're not comfortable talking about. I think it's such a lie that you have to divulge everything about yourself in a relationship, that there can be no secrets. You have to tell them every little thing about yourself and discuss everything. I mean, obviously in terms of like cheating and stuff, those are secrets that definitely should be shared, in my opinion. But for example, maybe one of your parents died and you don't like to talk about it. You don't have to talk about it, and you should tell them that. Maybe you don't like when they have certain opinions on your friends because they're super nitpicky. You can certainly say, hey, can we not talk about how you don't like when this person does XYZ, because I like them, they're staying in my life, so I don't really want to talk about that. And if you have a problem with that, you can leave, but this is something that we're not going to talk about. That is a healthy way to set a boundary about things you're willing to not communicate about. Well, there you guys have it. Those are 7 healthy boundaries to set in your relationships. Now, it can be really, really difficult to be setting boundaries and to really be an independent person while still in a relationship, but being able to balance both can really make your life just a whole lot better in the long run. So definitely leave in the comments below some different boundaries that you're setting in your relationships so we can all learn together some different ways to be a better individual and a better significant other. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're always seeing more self-help, self-growth, relationship type videos. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you in the next one.